I can change the settings with the remote, but I can't seem to start recording. Maybe I'll just have to learn how to use the camera. Alright, now I'm sitting here in a little rest stop area in Fernvale, and my fuel light has come on. And the service station that I just passed, gas station, service station, we call them service station, it had no pumps working. So, next town and next service station is in a town called Esk. And that is about 35 kilometres away, I'm guessing. So this will be a good test to see how accurate this fuel gauge is. I'll just lope along here about 100, 110, 3,500 revs. Beautiful sunny day. And keep an eye on the petrol. I really would kill for a coffee. It's about 10 to 10 in the morning. I already had 2. That's probably a bad sign, isn't it? Now the fuel light's gone off. That's good. This means I've got a bit more distance up my sleeve. It seems to come on with about 75 kilometres to go left in the tank. Let's see if it recalculates things differently going downhill. Going uphill, we seem to have no fuel light. Let's go downhill. And there it is. That's okay. It tells me I've got 72 kilometres. It's only 30 kilometres to the next town. So I should be fine. That is the beautiful Lake Wivenhoe. And I'm crossing over the Wivenhoe Dam as we speak. It's really an extraordinary dam, the lake. It's man-made, of course, but it is about 20 minutes from our house, and literally you could be in the middle of nowhere. People, you can take kayaks. Up until recently you could not take petrol driven engines or outboards on your boat, but now it was electric only. but now they've just introduced certain rules where you can take petrol driven motors. I think they've got to be electronic fuel injection. There's a speed limit of 6 knots. They've got to be, I think, under a certain size, but I'm not sure. Last time we were camping here, there was a guy across the lake, started up his little, probably only like a 10 horsepower engine. It wasn't, it wouldn't have been loud by any stretch of the imagination, but because he was on the other side of the lake, it was about 6 o'clock in the morning, it was dead still. You could hear a pin drop, and all anyone could hear was this guy starting up and warming up his outboard motor. It sort of breaks the magic atmosphere of the lake. Father's Day was yesterday here in Australia, and I got spoiled again. Lovely breakfast and a few Cuban cigars, and what else did I get? Oh, the first couple of season DVDs of Supernatural, and a couple of lovely drawings and a card from Aiden. I also got a text from my oldest boy James, who is working at a place in Australia. You could probably look it up on a map, but you might need a magnifying glass. It's a place called Arakoon. And if you look at way up in the tip of Cape York, the pointy bit on the right hand side, top right hand side of Australia, you'll see Arakoon. It's famous in Australia for housing or holding a very large Aboriginal reserve. And it really is the last frontier in Australia, I think. My son James is pretty tough, and I think you'd have to be very tough to work up there. What do we got here? No one behind us, no one in front of us. It's telling me now 54 kilometres to empty, and this is ahead. I don't know how far this is, but it's probably 20 kilometres. Oh, let's see. 22 kilometres. It wasn't far off. watched a video last night on YouTube of this guy riding his black Kawasaki Ninja 300, and just out testing his microphone actually and his helmet just around the corner from his house, and he got hit by a deer. And luckily for him, it was a very small deer. He was riding along beside these cane fields, I think they're cornfields actually, and the right hand side of the road, because they drive on the right hand side. The right hand side of the road, the corn was pretty much right up until the bitumen. And this thing, he had his camera on, and then this thing just darted straight out, of course they're so fast. And poor thing, I think by the damage to his bike, I think the poor little deer is probably no longer with us. Got a couple of cracked fairings and some, dent in his acro pipe. So I think he may find poor little deer beside in somewhere else in that field. Anyway, we don't have a lot of deer here in Australia. There are some, funnily enough, where I'm heading now, Esk, the town of Ship of Esk, their town logo is a picture of a stag, and there are wild red deer here in this area. They're not native, so they were introduced, and I think they're considered a pest. So there are a fair few people that come up here on quad bikes and things and hunt them. I think you're able to hunt them any time of the year. But anyway, the thing that we have to watch out for here in Australia are the two-legged deer of Australia, the kangaroo. They are considerably more prolific in Australia than deer are in North America. These things are everywhere. And normally where there's one, there's 20, or 100, or 1,000. The thing with deer is too, like most animals, they tend to move to and from water and feeding at dawn and dusk. So it's much more dangerous to be riding at those times here. Most country people here in Australia have big bull bars on the front of their vehicles, and that's pretty much exactly why, because of the kangaroos. I hate to think how many get knocked and killed on Australian roads every night, but it would be thousands. in a couple of weeks, actually not even a couple of weeks now, about 10 days, Thursday week, I've got there's a rally on down in northern New South Wales at a town by the name of Kyogle, a beautiful, beautiful part of Australia. It's they call it the Riverina district, Northern Rivers. So it's Northern Rivers district of New South Wales, and it is absolutely drop dead gorgeous countryside. And they have little towns like Kyogle. I think there'd be, I don't know how many people live in Kyogle, maybe 10,000. And there is the Lions TT event. Which sounds as though the Isle of Man TT event, but it's not. Well, the first year was last year, and there is an iconic road here in Australia called the Lions Road, which basically runs from Queensland, the state where I am, into New South Wales, coming out near Kyogle. And it's a privately funded road by the Lions Club of Kyogle, and it accepts donations from travellers to maintain the road. It's a really interesting, twisty, windy, hilly road that's very challenging. And the whole idea of the event last year was to have runs, not races, but runs on this road from Queensland to New South Wales. Anyway, the organisers had all sorts of trouble, legal trouble, liability trouble, police trouble. So they ran it, but there were a couple of people took things a bit too far, went a bit too fast, crashed their bikes. So this year I don't think there's no official runs on the Lions Road this year. There are events on in the township of Kyogle, there's events on in the town next to it called Casino. They've got sprints at the airfield. They're having a fair few adventure rides that are guided by a 4-time Dakar rally racer. So that'd be interesting if I had an adventure bike, but I don't. There's a couple of road rides, group road rides that they're running. I actually joined up as a life member last year, so there is a life member memorial ride from Rathdowney into Kyogle on 8 o'clock on a Saturday. I don't know why it's a memorial ride. I don't know. Normally that's if someone has died. I don't know of anyone who's died to do with the TT, or any of the life members. Anyway, I'm sure they'll spell that out. So that should be great. It's a 3-day event. I'm going to go down on the Thursday before. So I'll be there for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and come home on the Sunday. There's always plenty to look at and do. And there's a couple of nice pubs in town. And the showgrounds at Kyogle's where they're having a bar, a burner bar, and camping. So you don't have to spend a fortune being there. I think camping is like $20 a night or something. if you take your own tent. You can hire tents there and even camper beds, but I don't think I'll be bothering this year. I think I'll just go with the fully self-contained tent option again. That's what I did last year and it worked out pretty well. Alright, here's the township of Esk. And what have we got? 32 kilometres left on the range. Yeehaw! So I'll find the fuel, the gas station up ahead. There is only one in town. Get some fuel and then I can get some fuel into me. There's the little park. There's a coffee shop across the road. That'll do me nicely. Now the fuel gas station is just up here on the left. The Shell. Let's pull in here and get some petrol. I don't know why this fuel would be cheaper than it is in Fernvale. It's further out. Doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. Let's try some premium. Lucky I remembered my wallet today. I left without it.